Okay, let me start with the very first lecture on reading comprehensions. I have different lectures which can collectively address about the reading comprehension, but today my job will treat you as a first student. You are the first day of the classroom of reading comprehensions, and your job is just to understand practically that how to speed your reading skills. So I like to explain you some tips and strategies, and I can explain you very thing without any kind of confusion, that students who employ techniques, strategies and skills, this student has an upper hand as a student who would like to read thoroughly. This is examinations, and I've been telling many times frequently that when you will leave this classroom, everything will be vanished. You studied medicine and you'll be given a task on herbal technology. It's nothing with your interest. You got psychology and the task has been given it to you in a business, so it doesn't relevant with you. So today we'll be focusing on two important things, that how to get the topic word in your reading and how to get the topic sentence. And we'll be studying these two things today, that how to get the topic word and topic sentence. And my strategy is completely based on some kind of tools which you need to understand during your reading. I'm again asking it to you that I'm not suggesting students to read thoroughly, read everything like a memorized sentences. Your job is just to use techniques and get the idea what has been mentioned in the whole paragraph. So we'll be given in fact 10 seconds for every student, that how would you be able to understand that what is the main topic sentence of the conversation. So let me have an example to you. I can't read that. It's so, yes. Okay, yes. Everybody can read that easily?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be making my own example. So it's a listening exercise, okay? So it's reading exercise and this is listening exercise, okay? I'll make my tracks. And I'm giving you an idea that how would you be able to get a topic's word in the conversation or even the text. And there are two kind of strategies. Number one, repetition of the words again over again in your sentences will reflect you this is a topic word. This is in fact one of the most important tools for any student who want to be orientating himself for reading comprehension. Is felt that is a very difficult reading. So your job is just to find a word which is repeatedly used in the passage. This is a topic word. There is no confusion on this point of view. The only one thing which you need to understand that are synonyms and synonym variants. Synonyms and synonym variants. This is a very important thing to understand over here today. Synonyms, everybody knows that, is an alternative, interchangeable, or something like in a close meanings. We can call them synonym variants. Anyone can explain me what is meant by the word synonym variant?
Variants mean those synonyms who can change, having variations, like you can say from one class to another. For suppose a word, I can use a word flower. Yes. So I have another connotation meanings. Like you can say, it's about like connotative meanings, like you can say.
To great extent, is absolutely a very terrific explanations. Make an extraordinary stress on the word variations. Obviously, she is absolutely correct. Synonyms which has an identical meanings. Okay. For example, the word is like a management is an identical meaning of administrations. So when you have an identical meanings, we can call them as synonyms. When the word does have variations, it belongs to the family of the word, but it does not have identical or exact and absolute meaning. We can call them a variant. I can give you one example here is a word like a ostentatious. Ostentatious. It's a very popular word in literature. Ostentatious means that the person is showy. So his behavior is ostentatious, and sometimes he extravagantly explains the things. So his word is ostentatious. How actually the word ostentatious has a synonym variant? We can say that the close meaning is showy. Another says that the showy is a kind of person who is a pompous. A pompous is a kind of personality that who is a showy. And pompous is something, is a kind of word which has a meaning of exhibitionist. Exhibitionist. It's coming from exhibition. The person who is showing a lot of things is exhibitionist. Another would like to explain the word exhibitionist in the sense of pretending. So all these kind of words actually have family, but they're not identical. So being a student of reading comprehension, the first day that you have to get a very exclusive exposure towards your reading, so please find that the word which has a closest meaning in the passage. For example, listen my conversations very much carefully and try to find out the word which I'm using repeatedly that in the compositions. Internet actually is a very robust and a very evolutionary technology, and it has some kind of extraordinary benefits that people felt that it actually has changed humans' life very much aggressive. Internet considered to be a very positive technology, but sometimes if one of the single node has been destroyed, the whole system was collapsed. So it shows in fact some kind of negativity of the internet in the compositions. Okay, listen to my conversations. So did you find any kind of word which I repeatedly use in the passage? Yes, I have introduced the word internet quite frequently here. And believe me, this is a topic word, because the whole conversation is revolving around that particular word. And this word has, in fact, the very importance in your compositions. So, being a student of reading comprehension, the first thing, when you like, you will be given a text. So, please try to observe that you have been given a repetition of the words in the passage, so you can be able to nominate or try to microscopically find that. You'll be able to find the topic word. This is the very first thing. It's the very easiest thing. I told you that repetition of the word, it has in fact very important thing. And most of the time in PTE and IELTS, you'll be asked questions, what is the main idea? Did you find any other difficult words over here? Okay, the next technique which I'm going to teach you today here, that how would you like to predict, forecast, anticipate the topic sentence. Firstly, I gave you the formula that how would you like to guess the topic word in the compositions, and the solutions was really marvelous and very unequivocal, that repetition of the words or belongs to the family word. This word has serious attention to relate with your topic. Now that we have to observe that how would you be able to understand the main idea or the topic sentence of the compositions? So we have actually that concluded our research work on reading comprehension, the world's literature, any literature which we have produced up till now, that there are 5 different ways to check your compositions, that in which style the author is writing something. Number 1, these are 5 methods. The first method are statistical, or we can call them factuals. In your compositions, if you found a lot of statistics, a lot of factual information, so believe me, the writer is trying to give any kind of factual information about that particular things. For example, listen to my conversations very much carefully. It's a listening practice, even though we have a reading, it's a listening practice to guess that. So factuals means statistics, like numerical values. For example, 1972 is a statistical information. For example, the word is 22 centimeter is a statistical information. So any kind of factual information, or we can call them 2 meters height is a factual information. We can call them as 30 degrees Celsius is a factual information. So when you got numerical information, so we can call them statistical or factuals. Now listen my paragraph carefully so you can actually guess that how the writer is trying to say that. Sydney is a, yes please, and try to observe that what I mean to say about factual, statistical. Sydney is one of the most formulative city of Australia, and they have captured that in the month of June they have got 3.5 milliliters of rain, but in the month of July that they experience about a very long rain of 3 days, and they have calculated about 4 to 5 milliliters. So it's supposed to be one of the most rainy area in the month of July is supposed to be targeted and calculated in Sydney. Got that?
Yes.
What I'm trying to say here. The one thing is clear. What is a repeatedly used a word?
July and
June, July, quantity of rain, and probably Australia and Sydney. That is actually the words. Belongs to the family. So if you like to look at that, so I have used a lot of statistics about in fact that 3 days, I use about 3.5 ml, I use in fact that 5 million, so this is in fact that. So listen another example, try to observe it carefully, okay? Hubble actually is the world's biggest telescope. In fact, it's been designed to observe the little miniatures and what's going in microscopic observations, and it has 3.5 dimension, which has the value to capture the travel years of 15 billions observatory equipments which cannot do that. So their magnifying glass has the kind of quality which can capture the image since from 3 years, and got in fact that about 15 million magnitude of their megapixels of this technology. It actually makes the world right surprised one. Got that?
Yes.
I use a repeatedly used word.
like you can say
50 million.
No.
50 million.
No, I'm using a repeatedly words. How would you like to guess that? What is the main topic of the word? Telescope. I was talking about telescope again and again of Hubble actually. And I use a lot of statistical, a lot of factual information about the Hubble. You can actually guess that the writer is probably asking about some kind of the dimensional information about the telescope. So my job is just to teach all of you, because you came with a very much diverse educational background. I'm not teaching you physics. I'm not teaching you chemistry. I'm actually developing your habit of doing reading comprehension in that way that you can be able to guess the meaning of the sentence, which is basic requirement of your examinations. Because when you will leave the classroom, which you have studied 60 minutes of reading comprehension, everything will be obsoleted from your brain. So why we want to remember everything? So we need to use techniques to do that. Okay, so this is the first method. Whenever you will read any passage, so please apply that. And the writer is probably talking about some statistical information or some kind of factual information. So you can guess that the writer is talking about that particular word. Is my topic word was a Hubble, and is talking about the factual information. The whole exposure of reading comprehension will be completed. The next method which can be applied begins. और मैं एक चैलेंज देने लगा हूँ आपको, particularly you as an MPhil student of literature, जो इन दुनिया के जितना भी टेक्स्ट उठा लें आप, जितना भी टेक्स्ट उठा लें, ये 5 मेथड्स ही एप्लीकेबल हुए होंगे उसके अंदर ना, ब्लेंड होगा या ये 5 मेथड्स होंगे. The next one is personal observations. So personal observations, I want to ask my students, so how would you be able to understand that? So you need to be focused more on certain words like I, me, my, myself. So these words has actually produced a paragraph in a particular way where the writer is sharing his own personal experience about that. For example, listen my conversations carefully. It's a kind of reading extract for you. I got an opportunity of traveling, in fact, in northern places. I found that the people, their culture, values, and their traditions is quite different from the zone of the people living in plateaus. This experience, in fact, makes me quite amazed when I spend certain time with them and I introduce with their traditions and values. So they came to know that the behavior of the people actually different from in mountainous areas are different from the people who've been living here in the plateaus. So get that. What is the main word I'm using repeatedly in the passage? I. Main. Experience. I found that. I means such type of words which has very importance in your composition. So it shows to your observations that the writer is probably talking about is sharing his personal experience. And now listen to another example that my experience with animals was really miraculous. So spending a time with animals, understanding their behavior, that really makes it reckless. So sometimes the attitude the humans actually reflect us, it's different from the experience which we can spend with the animals. But the one thing is that immediately clear, animals actually will like to feel the emotions, and what human actually has a capacity. This makes me quite nervous. Me, I actually. So you can actually guess that. So the topic was about animal, because I'm repeatedly use the word animal. So the writer probably is discussing his personal experiences with animals about that particular thing. So when you will read properly, you can get the whole idea, but you have to guess that what is the major objective of this paragraph. A third method of